Hi, I'm homosexual Bryan Safi.
And I'm feminist Erin Gibson.
And this is Attitudes.
Gender issues.
LGBT plus issues.
Pop culture.
Ooh. Brewski.
Oh.
You understand? I fucking love a brewski.
I fucking love beer, bro.
Fuck, bro. Beer. Fuck, come, beer. Can you handle it?
I can only handle two of those things.
Me too.
And one of them isn't cum.
No.
I think we should...
But you can't come without a good back.
Who said that?
Dolly Parton in Stu Magnolias to Sam Shepard. But bud, we always watch the fireworks.
Wait, and she says...
No. Dolly Parton in Stu
like,
Magnolias does not say you can't come without a good fuck. I want to set the record straight. You know, we're disgusting.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. End times. You know what I mean? I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want.
Awful. It gets more and more painful every day.
Tell me about Boston. My lip color is a little too, I'm dead. You know what I mean?
You were just my mom doing her makeup while saying, just tell me something about something. Tell me about Boston. And then
Tell me about Boston, Bryan.
Pulled up a handheld mirror. I'm in Boston right now because one of my private clients and believe me, I had to get paid a little bit more this weekend. You know, when I travel out of town, it's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
He said,
oh, you charge more.
I charge way more.
Do you take PayPal? What's your method of, because I just assume
exclusively PayPal.
Peter Thiel.
Exclusively PayPal.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get paid in mayo, depending on what I need sandwich-wise.
Yeah, you do.
You know what? But yeah, so he had to be here for
more
business.
More like man yayo, right?
Fuck yes, Erin.
Hell yeah, bitch.
Do you think this is the podcast I should send to my parents? They still can't figure out how to listen to a podcast.
I don't ever think they should do it. I don't ever think, or you know what you should do? You should send them like Jesus on Sunday or whatever.
Yes.
Jesus on Wheels, or send them some biblical thing, but then just have AI put your make one of the hosts' voices mine and one of them's yours.
Was that part of Revelations? Jesus on Wheels?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Jesus on rollerblades. So listen. So
I think if you're a Christian and you're driving a car, you should be using, you don't say car, you say I'm Jesus on Wheels.
That's right.
Yeah.
I will say this. The pros of Boston. Actually, there's really, I don't know. I've been here 2 days and barely done anything, but
you've been there before.
I've been here before.
It's not like you can't judge.
It's a really pretty city. Do you know, I looked it up. Guess what number city it is in terms of population in the United States? This was
I'm
shocking.
going to guess 7.
25.
Oh, it's real small, huh?
Even smaller than Oklahoma City. I was shocked.
Watch my face again.
Stunned.
Yeah.
Jaw agape.
Mm-hmm.
Jaw agape. But I got to say, one thing I love here is that people love talking. So you'll be in an elevator and people will be like, you only go into the second floor? Why didn't you just walk? Just talking to strangers constantly. Like, what did one guy say? He said, we're smushed in here like sardines. I hope no one's claustrophobic. And just people laughing. And someone's like, did everyone put on deodorant today? I mean, it's just constant.
I love it. It's actually, it's tryouts. Do you remember when we used to have to do it at UCB? We'd have to try out for Just for Laughs. And we'd have to do a character panel. Yeah. I'm telling you what, thinking about it right now, living hell. It would be
one time I had to go straight from a lipid panel right to a character panel. I was exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. I did the wrong way. I went character panel, STD panel.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
And you should have ended on a high, not a low.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you? I know we were friends then. Someone was running the panel very badly.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like 3 hours behind.
That is...
And I was the second
for a comedy
block,
panel to be 3 hours behind.
3 hours behind. So the first block was supposed to be 2 hours and the second block was supposed to be 2 hours. And the first block was 3 hours behind.
Who wants that?
I was the first person up after the second block and it was midnight. And it was supposed to be over the whole thing was supposed to be over in an hour. And they were about in for 3 more hours. And I had chosen this character that was the worst warm-up comic. And the bit, I don't remember what the bit was. All I remember, it was the wrong bit for that thing.
It's like, just crickets.
I think my character just kept saying, "You ready to laugh?" And then
that is, wait.
One of the guys
fucking hilarious. What are you even talking about?
I would just be like, it would be like a repetitive bit, where I would just be like, dumb joke, you ready to laugh? But if the jokes weren't good. So the jokes were purposely not good. And then I would just constantly say very confidently, are you ready to laugh?
You were ahead of your time.
One of the scouts, I kept pressing him. I was like, but are you ready to laugh?
You did everything right.
He goes, I've been here for 3 hours and I haven't had dinner. I was like, oh no.
Too much.
Not going to Just for Laughs this year. Too much.
It.
That's what we do. TMC. Too much comedy.
TMC. Yeah. Turner Classic Movies. Turner Movie Classics.
Turner Movie Classics.
How are you? How was your weekend?
We also were part of the UCB when everyone used to get naked on stage. Do you remember that part?
Oh, but that's all back now, the clowning thing. Like that's all everybody does these days.
Tits and dicks out?
Yeah, seriously. With like
I never did. I said, if you want to see this, you got to fucking work for it.
I know, like, I took my shirt off and stuff for sketches, but I don't think I never took a shit on stage, which is like the rage.
That's what I want on my gravestone.
Yeah. And I never like fed myself a lot of creams. That's a big thing now. Do you know what I mean? Like stuffing like things that are like different creams.
Gross
and like
creams into your mouth. Yeah.
Seeing how many cream puffs you can put in your mouth and like
again
then fart.
You need to pony up. Like this is not a $5 admission. Okay. I am talented.
Thank you.
My skills are worthwhile. And if you want a private showing of what I can do, it's going to cost you $1,000.
Absolutely.
At the very least.
I'm not a rabbit. Do you understand? Like you know what I would see? I remember when I was young, I was eating Caesar salad and a rabbit jumped on my plate and kicked it in my face and then jumped off. And it was honestly so shocking. I mean, I thought it was a shark attack.
I don't need any more context, but I would like some.
I was at my friend Michael's and they had a rabbit. I forget its name. And the rabbit jumped, tried to eat the Caesar salad, kicked the rest of the salad in my face. And I think I screamed and maybe cried. But
why is the salad... Sorry, this is not the salad.
It was like a shark attack. I mean, I didn't see it coming.
Why was the rabbit just out and about on the dining room table? Because they shit wherever they want.
I was sitting on a couch eating the Caesar salad, watching TV.
This is your fault. Yeah.
And it was my first foray into cooking because it was like one of those salad mix kits.
I remember those.
And Michael and I were like home alone. And I was like, oh, I think we could do this. It was shocking.
Michael, I think we could do this.
Yeah.
Do you still keep in touch with Michael? Do you send him salad memes every once in a while?
No, we don't really do the meme thing, but on birthdays and when I'm in town. And
that's nice. And you don't send him a rabbit and say, remember?
No. But see, he really likes that rabbit. I'm the one who hated it.
I know, but you're not talking about whether or not you like the rabbit. You just were like, remember what that thing, you know?
And can I tell you, their dog and their rabbit coexisted beautifully.
I love cross species.
They had a golden retriever and a rabbit. The rabbit really didn't have time for is this interesting?
Well, when has that stopped us?
The rabbit really didn't have time for the golden retriever, but the golden retriever did like the rabbit. The golden retriever's name is Marmalade.
Oh, of course it was, because it was almost orange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I loved her.
I would have called it Chocolate to be funny.
Yeah.
This is my golden lab. We named it Chocolate. Texans would have loved that.
Yeah.
Texans would have loved that.
They love that kind of stuff.
Texans love a joke.
Yeah.
Bryan, why are you in Boston? Oh, your private client. Okay.
My private client I ate at a really fun restaurant that I know probably Bostonians will roll their eyes at because I think it's kind of on the nose, but it's this Italian restaurant in the North End called Giacomo's. I had the Frutti del Mar, which was so, I know I pronounced that right. No, pronounced it right. It was so delicious. It was this pasta with this kind of spicy red sauce with clams, mussels, all that stuff.
Oh, I love that on a summer's day.
And they were...
Good clams.
The people who worked there were so mean. It was this woman who was like 98 years old, which God love her. And she came over and she was like, what is it? What do you want? And I was like, this. And she goes, do you want a wine or do you want a Pepsi? And I was like, wow. I go, do you have Diet Pepsi? She goes, yes, we have Diet Pepsi. And I was like, okay, I'll have a Diet Pepsi.
Did you go with your private client?
Yeah.
And what did they think?
They loved it. They kept saying, because they're not from the States, and all they ever say is like, I can't believe how much people talk here.
I love it.
And they're like, everyone's so friendly. And I was like, you thought that was friendly? And then when they come to clear your plates, they go like this. So you have to pick up the plate.
Grabby. I love it.
Grabby. And then at the end, it's like the lowest option to tip is like 55%. And you're like, okay.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, they know what they're doing
Cash
in
only.
Boston.
Oh, they absolutely know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing in Boston. Was it packed?
Yeah, you had to wait in a line. But I mean, literally, you eat so fast there. Like,
again, a great way to consume those clams on a hot summer's day.
Wonderful way to consume, the best way to consume clams.
Just unhinging your jaw and just dumping it down your gullet.
That's pretty much what happened. And then, God, what else can I tell you?
I have good news.
Okay.
I did Adderall.
Hold on. Erin.
For the first time in my adult life. You know how I'm kind of scared? I like, in my day-to-day, I like to push the boundaries. I like to be a little bit of a raw dog, a dirty ass trash mouth. I like to give you a little ice road truckers, okay? But in my real life...
I hate to say it, it would have been way cooler if you had done cocaine. I hate to say
I
it.
have done cocaine once.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
But I only did it once because here's the problem.
By the way, just for the record, I've not done cocaine in decades. So everyone...
Who cares if you have? I don't don't care what anybody does anymore.
I understand.
Like, I truly don't care. Like, whatever you do is fine with me.
Fair enough.
I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Put your finger in your fucking coworker's ear hole. I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't even say anything. Just do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I did it because we had a night shoot. Our last shoot was a night shoot. We were rapping at 4 a.m. And you know, I'm naturally cocaine. So that's why I don't need to do
you've got
these
energy
drugs.
for days.
I need downers. I need weed. I need alcohol. I need stuff that counteracts my natural ability to...
Frying pan to the face.
Yes. I wake up and I'm 0 to 100.
Yeah.
And if you're in Canada or anywhere else that use kilometers, I guess 0 to 80.
Yeah.
No, it's the other way. 0 to 120. Okay. So
correct.
Anyway,
right. Commenters, relax. We got it right in the end.
I was like, I knew someone on set who had Adderall, who does have ADHD.
You've got all the connections.
And I said,
oh, that's good. So you robbed them of the medicine they need.
They offered it.
Okay.
They offered it. Because I like people who share their drugs.
Sure.
Just like Jim Flores. And, you know, I don't say no. Once offered a drug once, I really don't say no, as we all know from Jim Flores Xanax. If you're fresh to listening to the show, one time at the LA Sunset Crunch, someone dumped after spin class a bunch of Xanax onto the floor, and I picked them all up, and I'm still taking them.
Yeah.
Anyway, because I'm nothing if not cheap.
Yeah. Come on, me too.
So I did an Adderall, and I think I might have ADHD. Because they were like, I was like,
you
what is this going to do?
diagnosed yourself of having ADHD after taking Adderall.
Well, yeah, because I needed to stay up, and I didn't want to do any weird drugs because I needed to Hey,
listen, I'm not bashing you for it. Like, do what you want to do.
No, I fucking love it. I think I'm one step from meth. Okay, that's where I'm at. But I was like, I totally woke up. I was like focused. I got it done. I was like, the thing I said was, is this going to get fucked up with alcohol? Because I was going to do a shot after we were done.
I feel like no, but I don't.
No, the answer is no.
I truly don't know. Yeah.
I'm here to tell you the answer is no.
Okay.
But so I did it, and they were like, you're not going to be able to sleep on it. And I was like, watch me.
You didn't
fucking watch me. Yes, of course I did. I felt right to sleep.
Good for you.
But that's why people have diagnosed me sideshare with ADHD, because
the medicine affects you the right way.
Yes, I fell asleep. It was a wonderful night's sleep. I woke up I went to sleep at a cool 5:30 a.m. and I woke up at 9 a.m.
Oh, it sounds like it really puts you to bed.
Yeah, and it definitely didn't totally wear off by Saturday.
That's good.
Half of an Adderall definitely didn't stay in my system till Saturday.
Well, maybe you should talk to a doctor.
Oh, no.
No. Yeah.
No. I'll get it on the fucking black market or whatever. I don't trust doctors. Also, I don't want the government having my lists, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep, no, black market's for sure the way to go.
Propecia. I got all my Propecia on there.
Right. Yeah, you don't want the government knowing your hair might be thinning.
I don't want knowing that. All of my...
please, if anything, Donald Trump probably is pushing the government to cover Propecia entirely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
No,
that's like the one drug.
Hormonal help for straight cis men. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's the one that guys get for boners?
Viagra, Cialis.
I do that one too. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's also great. You can also do that on alcohol.
You know, I have done Viagra before.
And?
Well, because someone was convinced. This is when I was in college, by the way.
Oh,
was convinced. I was
then.
hooking up with someone and we were like drunk. And they were like, here, take this so you can stay hard. And I was like, I'm A literal 22. Staying hard will not be an issue. Like, I got it. And they were like, no,
Were you
just
insulted? Were you like, this is hard?
Yeah, but wait, this is hard. So I did take one and I was in fact.
I'm like a 1930s breakdown there.
Exactly. Just try.
That's just when they made bricks better. That's my only reason for putting a time frame on it.
Boy, did they used to make bricks better. Oh boy. I'll never forget when I was a child. Like, you used to really, you really knew you had a good brick in your hand because it would break a window. Yeah. And now it just bounces.
They'll just crumble right into your,
It's just such bullshit.
So you did Viagra.
I did Viagra. Listen, I plowed all night. What do you want from me? That's who I am. But
wouldn't you have been able to do that anyway? And did you want it to go away and it wouldn't? Did that make you cry?
Yes.
Was that hard?
I didn't
to deal with.
Well, it's so funny because how
do you put your pants on?
Well, I did a Viagra commercial and I said, I'll tell you what's hard.
Bricks. Number 2.
I'll tell you what. I was hard all night. I'll tell you what's hard, being hard for that long.
Oh, yeah. But
no one really shared that complaint with me.
Oh, this is not an anti-Viagra, but like the more you know.
Correct. I did a PSA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for real, how long did it last?
Like all night.
What does that mean? Until 9 a.m.?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But aren't you just scared that your skin's going to come slough off like a lizard after all that?
I don't remember thinking that. I just remember thinking like, I remember kissing my biceps and saying, what a stud. And the person saying, oh, thanks. And I go, no. I wasn't talking to you.
Talking to me.
Right. So I remember that part.
Yeah.
And I remember.
Even in the worst of my days, even in my picking up guys in elevator days.
Bitch, don't want to fuck for that long.
I don't have got stuff to do.
Obviously.
I have 3 hours.
I would always rather sleep than have sex. Isn't that sad? But even when I was in my 20s, I thought that.
Well, you have sleeping problems. So I think
do.
if you were getting full night's sleep, you might feel the other way around.
That's true.
And you were getting more iron. Maybe you have an iron deficiency, which is why you would rather sleep than fuck. Do you think?
No, I don't have an iron deficiency. I've checked it before.
Okay, well then I don't know.
I'm proficient in all areas.
I'll check the black market, see what kind of drugs you need to be on.
I have great iron.
Proficient in all areas?
Yeah. Excel, Microsoft Word, iron. I've got it on lock.
Okay, great. Bryan, what do we have on the show this week?
Well, you're not going to believe it. So listen.
Because this is unprecedented, correct? What's happening?
This is unprecedented because by popular demand, we are finishing the trifecta of decorating scents. Dateline will be back next week. But we've got one more decorating scents to go, and we're on a roll, baby. So I say let's just do it.
I say let's plow through, like Bryan's boner.
Correct. Just keep on plowing. So we do have our one and only, out for all tiers, our final decorating scents app. Now, Sergio was afraid that these would be diminishing returns. Is this final
because they're so that we've really tapped out? We've tapped that ass.
I gotta say, I thought the second episode was better than the first one.
Sergio, thoughts?
I ran out. Like literally the best, the best for last this week is literally the last segment from Discovery Plus.
Did they know they were going to get canceled?
Well, it's the last one that's available. I don't know if it's the last episode ever.
Got it.
It's missing like 30 seasons.
Okay, so once those 30 seasons become online, which is fantastic grammar.
So for those of you who haven't had access, this one's available for everyone this week for all tiers. You will finally get to hear a full Decorating Sense episode if you're on the Patreon, that is. Joan needs help with her kid's bathroom. Oh,
I have not stopped thinking about her children.
Well, because her daughter did not want to be there.
No.
Textured walls, sound sculptures, and finally some equality with a male designer ruining a room.
I can't wait.
That. Not to mention,
there's a vault episode.
That's right.
Live in Portland. I remember this show. This was downtown Portland, and the fucking crowd was in fuego.
Well, because it was the late night crowd. Remember, it was like that show was like at 10:30. We'd done an earlier show.
For pyros, yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to go to CVS for you to get saline solution and for your neti pot and also some queen size pantyhose.
But didn't you enjoy buying my queen size?
Are you crazy? I remember to
over
this
5'6", you have to buy queen size because otherwise you have low crotch.
Exactly.
You have to do queen size.
I was only too happy to do it. Also, of course, you can go to YouTube and get the first act of our video episodes every week for free. So you can find us on YouTube by searching Attitudes Pod. But if you want the full shebang, obviously you go to patreon.com/attitudes. I will also be at Edinburgh.
Heard of it?
July 30th to August 25th. So if you know anyone in the UK, please go. Please buy tickets. They're not expensive. They're like $10. So
yeah,
come on, guys.
And are you taking your shirt off?
I'm taking my shirt off. I actually am taking my shirt off, but off stage. Before I go on stage to
So
change.
if you sit at a certain angle, you could probably see it.
Yeah, why not?
I'm just saying if anybody wants to come to just objectify you.
Exactly. You can go to bryansafi.com for those tickets. It's also in my Instagram link tree. There might be like 2 or 3 tickets left for the New York preview show I'm doing. That's really more like a work in progress show. But if you want to see that, that's also on my link tree. That'll be Union Hall in New York, I think July 19th is sold out, but you could maybe go July 17th.
That's exciting.
Like. That's exciting. Do you want to get into some shoes?
I sure do.
Erin, I entered a new world this weekend.
Okay.
And not because I'm in Boston. I mean, that's not that different of a world. I mean, it's a little bit of a different world, but not
I think
entirely.
it's very different. Yeah.
Every time I use the phrase a different world, I immediately in my head rings Dwayne, Jasmine Guy.
Yes, of course. I know exactly what you're talking about.
The best.
Can I ask a question since you go to other cities?
Yes.
Well, now
ask
you've
me
gone to-
anything you want about cities.
Are people because this was happening in Vancouver and I really couldn't wrap my mind around it.
Okay, well, I've been to cities, so I will probably know.
Okay, but this is because you've been to a city outside of LA and New York now.
Mm-hmm.
Are people because in LA, everyone's wearing the LA hats. And in New York, everyone's wearing the New York hats. But then in other cities, people are also wearing the LA and New York hats. So
Everyone
is that happening in Boston?
The Boston hats. Everyone here is wearing the Boston hats.
Okay. That's not happening there. Because in Vancouver,
I think they're very, listen, they've got some great teams. They've got, what am I talking about right now?
I don't know.
I want to know how I know that. Let me put this.
No, because when you get off the airplane, they tell you we have great teams. They start indoctrinating you immediately.
Hey guys, we have great teams. And I'm not talking Google Meet.
There's also a program called Teams.
I know. I think that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
To me, they're all the same. Zoom to me is though, to be honest with you.
Zoom is Google. Zoom is Teams.
Zoom to me is Obama. And Teams to me is like
George W.
Yep. And Google Hang is like Mitt Romney or something.
What's Slack?
Slack is like, I'm going to say Slack is Pete Buttigieg.
Okay. All right. Okay. I like it.
Okay. So listen.
So everyone's wearing Boston hats there. I just want to take a
Everyone's
survey.
wearing Boston hats because, they have the New England Patriots here. They have the Boston Red Sox. They have the, the Boston Pops, the BSO.
Famous sports team, Boston Pops.
I wish the sports team was called the Pops.
Me too.
That would be great. The basketball team should be, the Boston Celtics, of course, is the basketball team. Larry Bird.
Now, technically, should they not be called the Celtics?
I guess, of course they should be.
Okay.
But I think they say Celtics here.
Yeah. Is Larry Bird still around? You see him around town?
Oh, man. Yeah, babe. See him everywhere. I was on Long Wharf and I saw him.
What the fuck is Long Wharf?
I haven't been, but there's I think kind of a touristy part of town called Long Wharf where it's a long wharf.
But
and they have
say
illegal
Long
seafood. That's all I know about it.
Illegal seafood?
There's a famous chain in Boston called Legals.
Oh, okay.
Which is like a seafood chain.
Terrible.
It is a stupid name. I don't even know if it's any good. I went when I was a kid.
Didn't we eat there? We went to a seafood place on a plaza once in Boston.
Maybe we ate there. There's a lot of seafood.
Remember our
places
live
there.
shows? Weren't those fun?
They
kind of were.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's talk about next year. Maybe in the fall. But now I have a regular schedule.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Okay, I don't know why I'm making your shoe about our tour. Once again, just talking
Please,
a big
I want
fucking
to.
game. Okay.
Well, I entered the world of which I'd heard of, but hadn't really ever explored of Danmei. Have you heard of this, Erin? Do you know what this is?
No.
So this is gay.
One word?
Sorry?
One word, Danmei?
One word, Danmei.
Okay.
very popular in, well, I mean, it really like originates in Taiwan, also in China. Danmei is an incredibly, I mean, I can't even overstate how popular it is, but it's a genre of gay erotic fiction, typically written by young women, and also the target audience is young women, even though when I say gay erotic fiction, I'm specifically talking about men on men.
So it's challengers.
It's challengers, but really written by women for women. And I'll explain exactly why in a few minutes, why essentially that hits so hard with young consumers. So last week, and really since February, actually, at least 30 authors of Danmei, nearly all of them women in their 20s, have been arrested across China. Some are out on bail, others still are in custody, and many more have been called in for questioning because of the fact that they author these Danmei things. And China is going through, sort of like we're going through here, a cultural shift of people aren't having enough kids, women aren't getting married at the rates they used to, all of this stuff.
Make it easier for us.
Exactly. But it's a cultural crackdown on anything that seems too liberal.
Do you know how many fucking kids I would have if it was easy? None.
Right, exactly.
But still.
Yeah.
I would think about it more. You know what I mean?
So I agree.
I just don't want someone coming and asking me to wipe their ass. That's all.
I understand. That sounds so easy.
I love children. I really do.
It's clear.
I like being an auntie. I like doing fun, clown. But then I like going to bed and not being woken up in the middle of diarrhea.
Can I be honest with you? The kids don't like it though when you dress as a clown, Erin. Because you do the Labubu teeth and they don't like that.
Have you not seen have I not shown you my Sky Dancer costume from senior year when we did a dance to make them laugh?
Of course I've seen it. Are you crazy? We talk about making them laugh.
Well, I still have it. So I just put that into rotation.
Okay. I actually like that for a throwback. I don't mind it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter that I'm 40 pounds heavier. Doesn't matter. Clown costumes are very forgiving. They're like Billie Eilish outfits.
Clown costumes are very forgiving. We really need to bring, I think, clown to the streets more than we have.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
100%.
So one of the biggest platforms known for Danmei is something called Haitang Literature City, which is a Taiwan-based platform. And it's sort of, when you think of Danmei, this is how the BBC described it, and I can picture this. It's, in their words, a gay, genre-defying cousin of 50 Shades of Grey. So it's BDSM storylines that are in the genres of fantasy, sci-fi, even like historical fiction. And usually these BDSM storylines end in some kind of emotional catharsis or even romance. So it starts as like role-playing, but really ends in love.
Oh my God. So it is dirty.
Well, sort of. Because essentially when...
Have you ever read any of those things Anne Rice writes under her...
You know, I never have. I know what
are,
you're talking about, but I never read them.
I read one on the subway when I was living in Chicago, and I was literally like, I have to put this down because I'm going to start jerking off right now.
Holy hell.
They go there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, these Danmei stories have, as I said before, an absolutely enormous fan base, especially among young Chinese women who find something very liberating in writing them and reading them. Because you can imagine that the gender stereotyping in China is very severe. And this idea of what you are made for, which the government is now saying to marry and have children, is not necessarily what young Chinese women are fantasizing about.
No, they want to see two gay men fucking.
Right. So
I'm here for it. You know me.
Period.
I like all kinds of stuff.
So these young authors, again, most of them in their 20s, although, and I don't really know how I feel about this. Like, I'm not for policing anybody, do what you want. But a lot of Danmei authors start writing when they're like 10 or 11.
Well, now that's another. Sorry,
another
not to
story.
be like not to be a fucking conservative.
And this shoe is not about them. Like, I don't know what to say about that. They probably should not be reading these stories at 10 or 11, much less writing them.
Although I will say this, my cousin had at 12 the largest collection of Harlequin romance novels that any preteen has ever had, allowed by my aunt. And
All
we
right.
would go in there and grab a book and talk. And, they use poetry like he put his rod in her lake and stuff
No,
like
I know.
that. Yeah.
They uncorked the pallet. I don't know really what that means.
They unloaded the dump truck. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I must have been like, I don't know, 9. I was definitely in early junior high. No, I was in elementary school. So, I don't
All
know.
right. That's kind of fun, actually.
Who am I to judge?
Great job, Pope Francis. Couldn't agree more. So many of these authors are now, these young women are being charged under China's pornography laws for, quote, producing and distributing obscene materials. If they made any money from their writing, and I'm talking, some people make millions from their writing, but some people make the equivalent of like $5,000 for their writing. If they make money from it, they could face more than a decade in prison, which, by the way, is often longer than a sentence for something extremely severe like rape.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really shocking, the crackdown on this. But according to the law, if you earn something like 40 to 50,000 US dollars, you could get a life sentence for writing Danmei. And so then the question is, well, what qualifies as obscene? Really, what qualifies as obscene is any depiction of gay sex, period. Heterosexual erotica gets a lot more leeway. There's a lot more lenience for that. But this is all part of what's being called Beijing's, quote, clean internet campaign that's been getting more and more and more aggressive, except that and this has been going on since the early aughts, this clean internet campaign. But the difference is that now the resistance for what has happened to these young women and the fact that they write this gay erotica is the pushback online and on social media and from the population is much louder than it has been previously. It's driven, I guess, in part that this has happened before in a major crackdown way, but that it's happening again. People are like, fuck this. So in 2018, a woman writing under the pen name Tianyi was sentenced to 10 years in prison for a story that she had written about a student-teacher relationship. Her book sold 7,000 copies, and which was less than the statutory threshold for life imprisonment.
Student-teacher. Ooh,
very
steamo.
Sexy. I know. But she was thrown in prison for it.
Here's the thing.
For over 10 years.
That's insane. But here's how I feel about smut, which whatever you want to call it, fantasy fiction or whatever.
And by the way, these are badly written.
Of course, but also what a more healthy expression of your internal desires and fantasies than acting out on this stuff.
A lot of the questions online about people being super duper pissed about this. Now, there is a social media platform called Weibo. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, so it's big in China. And the big questions are, why does the government get to define what's obscene? When will women be able to get to define what's obscene? Because men are the only ones who define it. They're the only ones who get a say in what they think is too much. Women don't get that say, ever.
Sounds like they're fucking jealous.
Yeah, obviously.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, you want to write about 2 gay men? What about us?
Even just 5,000 views can be treated like criminal distribution. If these stories get 5,000 views. And by the way, they count views not by who's read the entire thing, but essentially if anyone's ever clicked on it. So it's also a false representation. Like something might have 5,000 views and literally 2 people might have actually read it. It just naturally. So a lot of discussions have been happening about this until those discussions stopped. All traces of the hashtag Haitang authors arrested, which had over 30 million, totally wiped. Any news reports about this, gone. Many of the authors have deleted their posts and then issuing formal apologies saying, I'm so sorry my work broke the law. One writer said, I was always the good girl in my parents' eyes, but that day I brought them nothing but shame. They'll never hold their heads up again. I'm guessing that these authors are saying this from legal advice.
Yes.
Yes. Or coercion. They're either being told by their lawyers, you have to apologize for this, or you could face a truly terrible sentence, or the government is saying like, we'll reduce your sentence if you apologize for what you did and say how it's ruined you and your family. You know, hold you up as an example, essentially. So again, I just want to reiterate how massive Danmei is. So hundreds of millions of readers in China and beyond. Many of these stories have actually been adapted into films and TV shows. There was one that was adapted into a show called The Untamed, And The Untamed pulled in over 200 million viewers. Unbelievable, despite it being censored constantly. So this genre is used to being censored, but the demand for it is so great that now the authors, as we mentioned before, do write between the lines. So everything is metaphorical at this point on what happens, quote, neck down. So I'll give you some examples. The phrase making dinner means sex. Yeah. And kitchen tool means male genitalia. So everything apparently happens in the kitchen because I guess it's the purest there. But yeah, do you want to make some dinner?
Filthy.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Filthy.
I like it.
Nasty.
We used to say in college, I got my car washed.
That's cool.
That's how we would talk about it in Texas, loudly.
You want to know something disgusting? I remember I had friends who said for smoking pot in high school, they would say, do you want to go eat Velveeta? The fuck?
That's shocking. Why didn't you just say make some queso? That makes more sense.
Totally.
But then you actually might want queso.
Do you want to go eat Velveeta? Not really.
Just a hunk of processed cheese block?
Disgusting.
That's a soft brick right there.
You know, Dolly Parton said in her memoir when she wanted to lose weight, she would just eat Velveeta and nothing else.
Well, I imagine you'd lose your appetite for it at a certain point. It's just an eating disorder.
I agree. So I want to talk a little bit about
Country
why,
Ozempic.
Exactly. About why these women are able to explore their desires, their powers, their vulnerabilities through, gay male erotica. Well, apparently, Danmei lets women detach from gender expectations by exploring it through male characters. And by the way, which is so wild because they don't have to then the stories don't have to be about what's, I guess, been ingrained in terms of child rearing, being a perfect wife, being a perfect mother, that if you're gay and male, you don't have those constraints. But also the characters in these stories, the men in these stories do get pregnant. Yeah. The women write them to where they get pregnant, to where they cook, to where they cry. They're very emotional.
Oh,
and they love very deeply and very messily. And apparently, according to her name's Dr. Liang Ji, she said that for many women, Danmei feels safer and freer than traditional heterosexual romance, which I fully believe.
You could probably explore what it's like to have sex, not for the purpose of procreation and just for the purposes of just
love and passion.
Nothing but a good time.
Exactly.
How could you resist? To quote
And there is something
Crue.
hot about thinking about getting your male partner pregnant.
Yeah.
That's kind of sexy.
All the time. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. But I think that probably also is what bothers, not only that it's gay, but also when you think about authorities looking over these things and cracking down on it, you're, in their eyes, emasculating men, A, and B, also defying every sort of heterosexual norm, including who gets pregnant.
Yeah. And you know what? What do they care? Wasn't Junior distributed over there in the 90s?
The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Yeah. Where he gets pregnant?
It's a great question.
We've already exposed you to it via California's finest governor.
I know. By the way,
why does he get pregnant in that? Not a good dicking from a woman.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't even care. Do you know what I mean?
I don't care either.
What's also happening there in terms of this crackdown is the reason there's been such a major one is because local governments are arresting people even out of their jurisdiction because a lot of these governments are in debt and they will generate revenue from fines specifically related to cybercrime.
By the way, I just found out, I was this many years old when I found out that the witch hunts that were happening against women.
Please don't say that you realized they weren't really witches.
It was a land grab because back then, if you inherited land from your parents or you're a widow, it was a way for them to get land, was to call you a witch and murder you and then take your fucking land.
Yeah, of course.
It was like eminent domain, but witchcraft.
Everything here has always just been to get richer.
It's all fucking capitalism. I was thinking about that too, about the when I was on Adderall. I was like, the only reason for me to do this drug is so I don't fall asleep and so I can finish my day. Yeah. It's capitalism. Those drugs
completely.
Are for
I've seen. Now, listen, this might affect people with ADHD differently, but There is a thing, I've read an article about how like Adderall is really a drug to like, for people who don't need it at least, to really keep producing.
Well, but even if you're like neurodivergent or you have these like expressions.
I do think it's helpful for many people. I don't need to underplay that. Yeah.
I'm just saying if the world was more accepting of neurodivergency.
Yes.
Then, and you could express yourself in a more natural way, it wouldn't be.
Right.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be on.
Not built for it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not saying it doesn't help people. I'm just saying like.
No, of course. But it is wild that these local governments that have nothing to do with where the author might live are just like, hey, we could get rich from finding these people and threatening, like, you know.
The synopsis for Junior is insane. Can I read it to you?
Go ahead.
A research scientist becomes the world's first pregnant man in order to test a drug he and a colleague have designed for expectant women. To carry out the trial, he has an embryo implant, believing he will only carry the baby for 3 months, hardly expecting to face the prospect of giving birth. This man impregnates himself and is like, whatever, the baby's going to be gone in 3 months. Who gives a shit? This is
disgusting. I mean, honestly.
Insane.
It's too much. It's way too much work.
And remember, he's in stirrups giving birth.
Yeah. Do you think there was a lot of Christian outrage to that movie?
I don't think so. Because in the 90s, it was like Christianity. Because in the 90s, by the way, BT dubs, you could get abortions in Texas, no problem.
Yeah. It's true.
Anyway, sorry to make it about Junior.
I what's
forgot
really
Emma Thompson was in it, but I think it's worth a rewatching.
I'm not gonna. What do you mean re?
Frank Langella's in it.
I like all those actors, including Arnold, by the way. I think he's a good actor, but yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I think what's really upsetting about this is really it's not only a crackdown on women expressing themselves, which it is, and trying to live freely in a vicarious way that is probably harmless. I mean, I think it is. And also offers them, I don't know, some kind of escape. But it's homophobia and misogyny are always tied together. And this is definitely a case of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It sucks when art is policed like that. And it sucks when women are policed like that. And it sucks when gay people are policed like that. It all sucks.
I assume that they've totally, which I'm sure America is going to be victim to this as well.
Please. I mean, we already are the victim to, quote, traditional family values. Like,
yes.
That's not China specific. That's here.
No. Well, you know what's happening in Texas about the porn blocking. You can't watch porn in Texas anymore unless you have a VPN.
Erin, I've told you every time I visit Texas and we record from there, I tell you, you can't watch porn here. Because I try. It's impossible.
You can't, but you can. Yes, you can. You need a VPN.
I know, but I don't know. I've never used one. It's
not that important for you to jerk off in your childhood bedroom.
Listen. I need to keep my mind active and agile.
Yeah, I get it.
And pure. When I jerk off, all I think is like, I think of like table runners and beautiful lace. Beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Eyelash extensions.
Exactly.
Yes.
Anything that feels peacock feathers, like that's usually.
Ooh, yes. Yeah. Hairpins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Shag carpet.
Boots that someone else has to lace up.
Oh my God. Yeah, bloomers.
Oh, I love bloomers.
Yeah, me too.
Makes me so fucking horny.
Fuck yeah. I'm gonna stick my dick in a bloomin' onion. Ew.
Not ew. You know what?
Delish.
Bryan, I hate to split my Employee of the Week award this week, but I have to do it.
Did you get one?
No, I'm giving them out. How many times have I given you one?
You've literally never given me one, and we only have like 4 people who work on the show. You, me, Sergio, Andy.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to do a better job of that.
Okay,
that's going to be on me. Okay, I'm going to do a better job of that.
Okay.
Wisconsin and Arizona really did a good job. And I want to talk about how. And I think the fairest way is to start with the state I assume has the largest craft beer selection. Wisconsin. Yes, thank you. So they invalidated a state abortion ban from 1849 just at the right time. 175 years later. Cleaning up them books. That was out of commission thanks to Roe, but then back into commission after the overturning of Roe. And I've talked about these laws a lot because since the overturning of Roe that there were these old like Comstock law adjacent abortion bans from the late 1800s, mid to late 1800s that all the states had on the books, and that they were invalidated during Roe. And then the states were like, we don't need to take it off. It doesn't matter anymore. But now that Roe is overturned, now those laws are technically active. Mm-hmm. So it was an abortion ban from 1849 that is now gone. And the reason that these laws were never taken off in the first place, I think people just, there was no will for it. There were 4 states that I'll talk about later who took these laws off the books before the overturning of Roe, but there has really not been an initiative to undo harmful laws. I mean, we talked about this, like
draconian.
There's still sodomy laws on the books in a lot of states. There's a lot of these laws that are going to be very harmful when all of our rights are continuously revoked.
One by one. I mean, we're seeing it in the Supreme Court every week right now.
It's happening. Okay. Yeah. So this should shine a very bright light on why it is paramount that we all participate in state elections for state Supreme Court justices, because this repeal happened because of one vote from newly elected Janet Protasiewicz. Sorry. I struggle with the Polish last names.
I understand.
I struggle. Okay. I'm not going to lie. So that is off the books now. And you can imagine if there was a conservative majority in that court, it would not have happened. And
exactly. That's why, like, the only recourse right now with this administration and a fucking Republican Congress is the justice system.
Midterms are going to be so important.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to fucking put our backs into it.
No, because right now all we have are judges. That's it.
That's all we have are judges. Yeah. And even then.
No, even then, it's not a slam dunk. Yeah.
And then this happened in May, but Governor Katie Hobbs, I think I missed this because of just, that was the constant fucking firestorm that is dumping on us at all times. She repealed the 1864 law and on her state's books in Arizona.
Nice.
Home to less craft brews, but more mid-century modern architectural gems.
Yeah, that's true. Arizona does have those.
They do. Because everyone, why?
Everyone moved there because they were ill.
There was tuberculosis, absolutely. But then also, like, it was like where rich people went to winter.
Okay.
And so all these rich people from Chicago, Wisconsin, Michigan
built like winter homes or something.
Crazy ass homes like that. Frank Lloyd Wright has a
West Taliesin
whole compound. Yes. Yeah. Have you been there?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he was a dickhole times 1,000.
Times a billion. But there's no denying that home is a work of art. It's gorgeous.
It's stunning.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a friend who hates Frank Lloyd Wright, and it's so funny to watch her talk. I mean, literally, and not just because he was of how he acted. She thinks he's over.
Was he? I don't know anything about him. Was he a raging asshole?
I don't know all the things, but I know he had like a bunch of kids, and then probably was a bad dad.
I mean, no, there's no doubt.
Yeah. Okay, so because of how their sessions are timed in Arizona, the repeal of the 1864 law does not take effect until this fall, October or November. That depends on if state Republicans decide to delay the end of the session to punt the repeal timing. So they could drag their feet and make it so that it doesn't go into the books later. But to double up, there's also a constitutional amendment going on the ballot this November that will allow state voters to say whether or not people have a fundamental right to an abortion up to fetal viability, which is 24 weeks. And then that would, if voted on, which we know how it goes in these red states, not that Arizona's I think it's kind of purple now, but
yeah,
these laws pass.
Yeah.
These amendments pass. When the people vote on it, they do the right thing.
Yeah.
And so if that gets a yes vote, overwhelming yes vote, then that would undo both the 1864 near total ban for abortion and the 15-week ban on the books if the voters want it, which we've seen time and time again that they do. So before Roe, 4 states repealed their abortion bans: Alaska, Hawaii, New York, and Washington. That was it. That was before whatever that was, 76?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mid-70s.
Got it.
Delaware, New Mexico, And Michigan have done it recently, joined by Wisconsin and Arizona. That is not enough states.
No, what is that, like 7, 8? That's especially like, not enough.
Where are you, Vermont? Where are you, California? Where are you, Oregon? These are true blue states.
Yeah.
Why are you not doing this? Actually,
Madonna would be very disappointed.
True blue, I know. Yeah. These are not true blues. By the way, if you've got some extra cash this week, just want to suggest once again, one of my favorite advocacy groups, the Guttmacher Institute. They are keeping tabs and numbers on not just national abortion policies, but state by state. They have a legislation tracker. So it's good to send them a couple bucks if you have it. And then also hop onto their sites and see what's happening in your state. If you have any inkling to just check in, and because it's very succinct and they break it down in really simple numbers and track them in very simple ways. So it's just very easy to check in. I have to say, after living in Canada for summers the last 2 years, albeit in a prisoner situation, thanks to
Jigsaw.
Yeah, Jigsaw. It's even more stark, the things that we have to fight for in this country. I've just never felt it harder from being somewhere else. In a place where they don't really have to even deal with this, and they can do things like, I don't know, climb a fucking mountain.
Yeah.
You know? It is my hope that we stay angry, because if you stay angry, you don't got to get angry. And there was no taking the foot off the gas right now. Not for 1 second. Not for once, or whatever.
I'm waiting for it. That green light. I want it.
Electric pedal. I don't know. Yeah. I don't have an electric. Do you have a hybrid?
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
I barely drive. I think I've clocked on my car it's almost at the 3-year mark. I think I have like 4,500 miles on it in 3 years.
Now, since you've gone Volkswagen, have you done a thing where you've accidentally put the gas pump into your car and almost run away?
No, that was with my last car.
Yeah.
No, so far when I get gas twice a year.
Yeah.
I don't drive away with the gas.
You really
attached.
Focus?
I really Ford Focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Smile Chateau live from Yonkers. Now, if you're listening to this show for the first time, you have no fucking idea what that means.
I still barely do.
It's not supposed
recommendations.
To make sense. If you're new to the show, just get on board with stuff's not supposed to make sense.
Yeah.
Let go and let God. Yeah.
This week on the Smile Chateau, Sarah Curlin had an incredible recommendation. She said, hey, y'all, wanted to add to the recommendations made on this episode of Hotlines you can call and or donate to, since the LGBTQ plus option is being eliminated by the current administration. By the way, it was eliminated. It's gone. The Press 3 is gone. Trans Lifeline, translifeline.org, which I do give to, Call Blackline, which is peer supporting counseling prioritizing BIPOC with an LGBTQ plus Black femme lens, and the LGBT National Help Center. So those are all hotlines you can call if you're in distress. Trans Lifeline, Call Blackline, and the LGBT National Help Center. Also, Sarah volunteers with an amazing organization in New York called the Sylvia Rivera Law Project, srlp.org, that helps with housing, name changes, legal matters, etc. for trans and gender nonconforming folks of color. And they could use donations. And that's not just money. That's also clothes, toiletry for care kits. And they distribute those to unhoused folks. So the Sylvia Rivera Law Project seems like a great one to give to.
The Odd Hobbyist says, thank you for sharing about people over papers. I'm a data viz nerd, passionate about social justice, and this is amazing. I wanted to share another cool data viz social justice project that people might be interested in. It's called transnewsinitiative.org. Again, I think especially with just the amount of flooding of just information that you want to be able to trust, but you're not sure if you can, going to these people who are boots on the ground and getting the information right.
Absolutely.
Guttmacher, transnewsinitiative.org, people over papers, all the hotlines that Bryan, these are all resources that are there. There are people working hard. And
I'm so sorry. I saw a seagull in the reflection on the table because there was a seagull flying outside. I wasn't expecting it. I'm so sorry.
Now you're just facing a window, and what you're saying is that nature just did its thing, but it was so scary to you. What did you think was happening?
Excuse me, if you looked over and saw a seagull's face in the reflection on your table, wouldn't you be alarmed?
Not if I was in front of a window. What floor are you on?
7.
Nothing's going to happen to you on 7.
Okay. Sorry about that. Those are all
No, that's okay. That was an outsized response to a seagull.
Erin, if you saw what I saw, you wouldn't think that way.
Okay. I'll give it to you this time. Next time, you know what I mean? Fool you once, shame on me. Fool you twice, shame on you.
Yeah.
TV Rec, King of Drag, free on Reverie TV. People have been asking about drag king representations on TV. And this is the first competition show. Wait, is this you, Sergio?
Sergio, is this your recommendation for Smile Chateau Live from Yonkers?
Taking my recommation.
I'm so sorry it was bolded. It didn't say this is mine. Let me talk, you stupid cunt. It didn't say any of that.
Wow.
Sergio, I hate to say you are not going to get Employee of the Month this time.
It's okay.
Based on what she just called you.
I'm calling me. That was him calling me a stupid cunt, not me calling him a stupid cunt.
Oh, sorry. Never mind.
I would never. Anyway, yes, over the weekend, I binged the first 2 episodes of King of Drag. I've been kind of getting burned out on Drag Race. Like, the queens keep getting younger and younger, and there's like a new season every other month. So this is a nice change.
Are you saying you prefer older drag queens? Because Mossy.
Yes, like the oldest one last season was, I think, 31, and they were calling her grandma.
Yeah, this is not good for the culture.
So, King of Drag, people have been asking for drag king representation because Drag Race has only been casting drag queens. This is the first drag competition show with only drag kings.
Cool.
The first cast of women, trans men, non-binary performers. Great names like Dick Von Dyke, Percocet, Big D, and Tuna Melt.
Oh, Tuna Melt. I love that. That's what I want. I want my nickname to be Tuna Melt.
It's hosted by Murray Hill and guest judges.
Hill. Murray Hill, one of the funniest people on the planet, by the way. If you've never seen a Murray Hill show, Murray Hill in the middle of a show will say something under his breath, like to where the audience is supposed to hear, like, how much longer do we have to do this? To like the band leader. It's amazing. I love it.
Did you guys watch Somebody Somewhere?
Yes, of course. Also, obviously, he was on that.
So he brings his friends, Jeff Hiller, Bridget Everett. Paul Feig was the first guest judge. It's only 6 episodes, so you guys can still catch up. 3rd ep is going to come out as of recording today on Sunday, July 6th. It's very funny. I wasn't expecting it to be so funny.
It's
giving
Sergio.
old school Drag Race vibes.
I can't wait. I'll definitely watch it. I love Murray, and I love all the people you mentioned.
Thank you. And this concludes Smile Chateau Live from Yonkers.
Absolutely.
Now on to comments from people. And let's be honest. We only pull comments that are nice and complimentary.
Yeah, obviously.
But we don't really get,
I don't think we have any nasties with us.
We don't really get nasties. Yeah.
No. Andy B says the Smile Chateau segment is fabulous, and I loved hearing resistance issues this week. Also, eerie timing as I was listening to my Grocery Jams playlist today, which includes a Jewel song. I was singing along in her style. Luckily, I work from home and only bother my cat. And also thinking, what's this weird voice shift with shades of Kermit? It was very affirming to hear Bryan's rendition just hours later. And Melissa concurred and said, I would go to every night of Bryan covers Jewel covering others. Shauna Eisenberg says,
that's a great show. That's a great, you know what it is? It's a great 3-minute bit.
It is.
Yeah.
Erin, don't take money from my pocket. Shauna Eisenberg says, I think the best sign for the Budapest protest would be we are hungry for change. Great idea.
Love it. Britt says, TikTok is by far the best social tool for organizing and getting out information. The whole decorating sense thing is from there. I got good stuff. It's got good stuff too. I'd love to see the good stuff. My problem is that the bad stuff. My problem is the bad stuff is not like I get bummed out when my smart friends are like, I saw this thing on TikTok and I'm like, it's working on you. You have to have critical thinking and then you can enjoy the good stuff.
Basically, don't send me your memes unless you're really Sergio.
Yeah.
I mean, I use it a lot just for funny videos, but
yeah,
it does disseminate a lot of good information. And I think that was a reason why the government was trying to ban it, because the bullshit gets through less versus like Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
And a lot of more liberal information is,
disseminated
pushed over conservative
I get it.
people.
I just, it's personally as a cis woman, I despise the amount of information that is body shaming and face shaming on there. And I just think, and bad diet culture that part bugs me. That part bugs me, and it's really prevalent. And so, of course, it can be both.
Yeah, sure.
This new thing we're doing, 27, Seth Reeves says the eat out couch was the piece de resistance.
It was a good one.
Joey said every once in a while, Bryan's seething hatred for anything rockabilly comes out and always makes me laugh.
I hate that stuff.
John Roman says, I'm crying at Bryan saying, I'm tasting your cum in my teeth.
Oh, me too. And Tyler says, I must be free to do my darkness behind the paywall. You said that, Erin.
Is the perfect teaser for your next Patreon subscribe. I'm telling you what, unhinged behind the paywall. Unhinged in front, but like double unhinged.
Wow, you guys got a good ep this week, everybody.
Congratulations.
They're good every week.
For once, you got a good ep.
It that way. I mean, it felt like a supersized one, even though I think it was around the same time. So why now?
Listen, always send us your Smile Chateau live from Yonkers, which is just suggestions of culture stuff we should know about.
But
and political activism stuff. And then,
but of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
BryanSuffy.com for Edinburgh tickets.
Get them.
Got them.
Good.